It's Knit Week! Actually, it's not, but it will be soon. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 knit patterns perfect for pattern hacking. So if that is something that might interest you, please keep watching. Hey Stitchers, it's your girl Kris. Welcome if you're new, or welcome back to the channel if you are an unsocial veteran. Now we have made it to number 5 in the 5-part Pattern Hackathon Inspiration series. Now July is Pattern Hacking Month, courtesy of your host, that's me. I am hosting a challenge over on Instagram. In case you want all of the details, you have absolutely zero idea of what I'm talking about, then make sure you check out this dedicated video right here where I introduce the biggest sewing challenge of the summer to you guys. I share with you guys the themes, the ambassadors, the sponsors, the prizes, just everything that you need to know about entering the Pattern Hackathon. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I have been sharing videos here on the channel featuring 5 different patterns that correspond with the particular weeks. Now, I decided to share these patterns a week in advance just to give you guys a little bit of inspiration if you needed help with patterns that you could hack and enter for Pattern Hackathon. Now, this video should have gone up on Tuesday, you guys, but it's actually Tuesday when I'm recording this video. I came home from work and wanted to do a little bit of sewing and decided to work on this very top that I'm rocking in today's video. It's not quite finished, you guys, but I decided to stop my sewing so I could come and film this video in hopes of getting it up when you're watching this on Thursday. It should have gone live on Tuesday. It did not because the last couple of weeks have been crazy, but the last week in particular, I have been so exhausted. Now, it probably didn't help that I was doing a detox for health reasons. That is a completely different story that we'll talk about in another video. But your girl just felt so tired and run down after work, and I was also trying to get my exercise in. So I was just not able to film this video. No, I thought I would do it tomorrow, Wednesday, and I wanted to squeeze in a little bit of sewing time because I haven't really sewn for the last like 3 or so weeks. I'm slowly getting back into it, and I had this piece of fabric left over and decided to make this top. All right, I feel like I'm rambling, you guys. The point is, this video is late because life has been lifing, but I'm here today and I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 knit patterns that are perfect for pattern hacking. Now, this week, as I'm currently recording and as you're watching it, it is actually size inclusive week over on Instagram. And the 2 hosts are Amina of Amina Sews and Simone of Simone Sews. Next week, which is Knit Week, we will have our 2 final ambassadors, and they are Alexandria of Alexandria Arnold over on Instagram and Raquel of Raquel Sewing and Stitching in Asia. I'll go ahead and leave their handles down below. You can head on over to Instagram and give all 4 of these ambassadors a follow. No, that is all I needed to say preliminarily. So let's get into the 5 knit patterns. Now, as usual, I do have my laptop right here in front of me. I'm going to be looking down at it because I have made notes about these patterns. And as usual, I want to make sure that I'm bringing you guys as accurate of information as is possible. Now, the first knitwear pattern that I want to talk about today is from Pattern Emporium. Now, Pattern Emporium is one of the 28 Pattern Hackathon sponsors, and I have been encouraging both my viewers here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram to shop the sponsors during this month and just to leave them a little note in their notes section letting them know that Pattern Hackathon has sent them. And so for this series, I have tried the best that I can to feature at least one pattern from the sponsors that actually provide patterns, because there are also sponsors that provide other sewing related items. So again, the first pattern company is Pattern Emporium, and the pattern that I wanted to highlight today is the Grab a Cuppa cardigan. You guys, I have made 2 of these cardigans to date, and I freaking love them. Love them, love them, love them. Now, you might be wondering, what is an island girl doing with cardigans when it is so hot? But I have told you time and time again that my office gets really, really cold, and I like to have my cardigans slung over the back of my office chair so that when I start to feel a little bit too chilly, I can just wrap myself up in a ball of comfort. And the Pattern Emporium Grab a Cuppa cardigan has become one of those trusted cardigan patterns. Now, the Grab a Cuppa cardigan is designed to be an oversized drop shoulder cardigan. It has 3 different lengths: a cropped length, a hip length, and a mid-thigh length. It has hembands, and it also has cuffed full sleeves. Now, this pattern comes in Pattern Emporium sizes 4 up to 30 and retails for US $11. Now, in terms of the hacking ideas for this cardigan, I have thought about playing with the depth of the hembands. Now, truth be told, on the 2 versions that I have made thus far, I completely ignored the hemband pattern piece and just used the width of the ribbing that I had. The reason being is I bought my ribbing in strips off Amazon, and I decided once I had the appropriate length to go around the entire circumference of my cardigan hem, the actual depth of the hemband didn't matter. So my first hacking idea is just to play around with the depth of the hembands, either to make them deeper or shallower depending on your preference. Now, the other hacking idea I had was to lengthen this cardigan into a midi length or a maxi length cardigan. Wouldn't that be cute? Styled over like a vest and some skinny jeans, maybe with some sneakers or a small heel. I think that would be a really, really dope look, especially for those of you who have seasons when you're going into fall or maybe even winter if it's still a little bit mild. Put on one of those, what is it? Is it called a bowler hat? Like, I'm seeing it in my mind, but I'm not quite sure what it's called. But I just feel like lengthening this pattern would be a vibe. Now, if you do decide to lengthen it, how about going ahead and adding a little bit of width at the hemline? Now, if you introduce volume at the hemline, it will create like a flared out shape. This pattern is designed to have like a boxy silhouette, and so maybe go in and nip in the waist a little bit and then flare out the hemline after you lengthen it, and that will change the silhouette altogether, and I think that will be really, really chic. Now, my final hacking idea has to do with the sleeves. The sleeves as drafted are quite full and voluminous sleeves with a cuffing at the wrist area. So how about playing with the sleeve and doing a lantern sleeve instead? And that would introduce some volume right up at the sleeve head as well as down at the wrist, maybe even doing a bell sleeve, or if you prefer to taper down that sleeve and just have a narrow straight sleeve. Now, those are the hacking ideas for the Grab a Cuppa cardigan. As I said, I really, really love this pattern, and I would definitely encourage you to add this one to your stash, whether or not you want to hack it. Now, I'm not affiliated with Pattern Emporium in any way, but I recently discovered them. I shared with you guys, I think maybe 2 or 3 of their patterns already. Having discovered them, I think maybe in April or May, and it is now July. So that should signal to you just how smitten I am with Pattern Emporium. Now, the next pattern company I want to highlight and the next Pattern Hackathon sponsor is Cashmerette. And the pattern I want to really focus on is the Appleton dress. Now, the Appleton dress comes in 2 different size bands, a 0 to 16 and a 12 to 32, and has 3 cup size options, you guys. It has a CD cup, an EF cup, and a GH cup. So those of you ladies who are well endowed have no issue or have a reduced likelihood of having to do a full bust adjustment with this pattern. Now, in terms of the sizing, you will have to buy either of these size bands separately. So if you wanted both size bands, you would have to buy them separately. Now, when I was looking at the pricing, it was coming up in Eastern Caribbean dollar. I guess it has like a location thing attached to the website or something, and it was giving me the price in Eastern Caribbean dollar. And the price given was 50 EC dollars. Now, 54 EC dollars is 20 US dollars. So I'm thinking that this pattern retails for about 18 US dollars. Now, it does have both PDF and printed options, and it has been designed for light to medium weight knit fabrics. It has a crossover front with a V-neck and some waist ties, and it has short or long sleeve options. Now, when you have patterns that already have quite a few variations, they are a little bit harder to hack because it means that you have to think a little bit more outside of the box, but it's not impossible. So the first hacking idea is very simple, and it is to go ahead and play around with the dress length. Either make it really, really short or really, really long, or choose a length somewhere in between. Okay, say hi.
Hi.
What you want to tell them? What you want to say? You just want to smile?
Yes.
Say, how are you?
How are you?
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Go on then. Now, if we're going to be playing around with the dress length, how about going and introducing some tiers as well? I think adding or reducing length and playing around with tiers are two of the simplest ways to hack a pattern. Now, if you play with the tiers, you can decide how many tiers you want and the width of those tiers. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 tiers. You can do them 1.5 times the volume of the tier above, 2 times, 2.5 times. It really is a matter of choice and probably a matter of your fabric availability as well. Now, you might also want to go ahead and play around with some ruffling at the neckline of this pattern. I think that will add a really, really chic detail to put some ruffles right the way around this V-neck wrap dress. You can decide how thick you want your ruffles and how dense you want your ruffles as well. And finally, you can change the sleeve to a puff sleeve that has some fullness, or you can do a flutter sleeve that just sort of drapes over the top of the arm. All of these hacks are definitely possible with the Upton dress, and I'll be really interested to see these hacks come to life. So if you hear me give any ideas in these videos and you want to copy them, I have absolutely zero problem with that. I would love to see you guys bring my ideas to life. Now, the next pattern I want to talk about is a swimsuit pattern, you guys, and it is obviously from Edgewater Avenue, because if you have been here for any time at all, you know that I really, really do like the Edgewater Avenue swimsuit patterns. Now, Edgewater also happens to be a Pattern Hackathon sponsor, and the swimsuit I want to highlight for today's video is the Poppy one-piece swimsuit. Now, the Poppy swimsuit comes in sizes extra small up to XXL and has an extended size range from a size 12 up to 22. It's a little bit strange that the smaller sizing are, I think, alphanumerical. I think that's what you call it. And then the extended sizing have actual numerals, but notwithstanding, you can get either or of these size bands. It comes in PDF only and retails, I think, for $15 US. Now, it has an optional shelf bra, which works wonderful for people like me who have mom boobs and need a little bit more support for the girls. It has 2 coverage options, a cheeky option and a full coverage option. And there is also an optional bust dart. Now, I don't really like bust darts. Generally, I prefer to have princess seams, but I have worked with a bust dart in her Frankie swimsuit pattern, and I really loved the additional shaping that dart provided to the girls. Before that, I had no idea that bust darts could be in swimwear, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well that turned out. Now, finally, this pattern is fully reversible if you exclude the shelf bra. So if you do the shelf bra, you can only wear this on one side, but if you omit the shelf bra, then you can have 2 swimsuits in one. Now, in terms of the hacking ideas, I thought the first one would be to cut it apart and make it into a bikini. If you have no issues showing your tummy area, you're into that kind of vibe, then just slash this baby apart right across the waistline area and turn this one piece into a 2-piece bikini. Now, this pattern has shoulder straps. You might decide to replace those stable shoulder straps and to do some shoulder ties instead. Maybe decide to do 2 really, really small shoulder ties instead of 1. I think that would add an additional dimension to this pattern. And you might decide to cut the back even lower. It does have sort of like a mid-back rise to the back, but maybe you want to extend that really, really low down to just above the bum. That would be really, really sexy, showing just a little bit more skin in the back. As long as you are comfortable with that, I think would be really, really nice. Now, the final idea I had was to slash this pattern down the side seams on the front and on the back, create a little bit extra width, and then do some loops and do a tied up corset type situation at your side seams. How sexy would that be? I think that that would be incredible. And I might actually have to try that hack for myself the next time I decide to make up a swimsuit. Truth be told, I have made maybe a dozen swimsuits already for this year. And quite frankly, even though I'm an island girl, how many swimsuits can I realistically wear? Now, if you want to check out any of my previous swimsuits, I think I have made the Love Notions Clearwater, and I have made the Edgewater Avenue Frankie, and a couple other swimsuits, and you can find them in dedicated videos here on the channel, and also I think in the March Makes wrap-up. So I'll link those down below in the description box so you can run ahead and check those out. I have also shared some swimsuit tips if you're new to swimsuit sewing and you're not quite sure where to start or how best to put your swimsuit together, then make sure you run ahead and check out this video right here. I promise you guys, once you do it a couple times, it's not as bad as you're probably telling yourself. Now, the next pattern I want to talk about comes from yet another sponsor of the Pattern Hackathon, and it is Friday Pattern Company, and the pattern I have in mind is the Adrienne blouse top. Now, this pattern retails for US $14 and comes in sizes extra small up to 4X and is drafted for a bust of 32 inches up to 54 inches and a hip of 34 inches up to 57 inches. Now, this pattern is labeled as beginner friendly. It is a fitted top with some big balloon sleeves that go just below the elbow. Now, in terms of the hacking ideas, why not turn this blouse into a dress? Simply cut it off at the waistband and then add a circle skirt or a gathered skirt. You can decide to do some tiers once again, and you can just end up with quite a few variations of an Adrienne dress. Now, you might even want to add a panel skirt and do some slits. You know your girl loves a leg moment, so imagine this in a full length dress with a really, really high split, with some panels down your center front skirt and your center back skirt for some additional fullness. Ooh, you guys, that would be really, really cute. Now, you might want to go in the opposite direction, and instead of making this into a dress, maybe you want to make it into a cropped shirt with those big balloon sleeves. That again, I think will be really cute with some high-waisted jeans, but you probably will end up flashing a little bit of skin around your midsection. So if you're very comfortable with that, why not go ahead and hack this top into a cropped top. Now, you might consider, if you're doing a dress, I should have mentioned before, maybe doing your bodice in a knit fabric and then using a woven fabric for your skirt. Assuming you're doing something that has gathering and so creating extra ease at the waistline, maybe going ahead and adding a little bit of elastic if you wanted to have a little bit more comfort, then you can definitely get away with doing a woven skirt and a knit top. Now, the final hacking idea I had was to lengthen the sleeves from the elbow length to all the way down at the wrist, maybe even add in some additional volume if you want really, really voluminous sleeves. And again, something simple enough to do, but I think will be dramatic in its final look. Now, the final pattern I want to talk about is again from Pattern Emporium. Actually, you guys, I didn't even realize I had 2 Pattern Emporium patterns in this listing, but I already have it on my notes, so I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. I probably could have found something from a different pattern company, but I don't know how that was just not clicking when I was preparing my notes. Now, the Pattern Emporium Sea Change jumpsuit retails for US $10. It comes in the sizing 4 to 26 and is drafted for a bust of 27.5 inches to 50.75 inches and a hip of 31.5 inches up to 54.75 inches. It features a relaxed fit with wide legs. It has optional pockets, optional ties and a sash belt. It has different strap widths and finishes. It has been drafted to be either a 3/4 length or a full length jumpsuit, and it does have short, regular and tall cutting lines. Now, there's also a romper included in this pattern to be either short or midi length, and the straps can be either fixed, adjustable or tied straps. Whew. another pattern that is jam-packed with options. So what hacking ideas did your girl possibly come up with? Now, the first idea I had was to go ahead and play with the width of those legs. It is designed to have a very wide full leg. Maybe you want to taper that down to a narrow leg or something in between. Maybe you want to go ahead and add in casing and some elastic at your ankles to give you like an Aladdin type of pant effect. Or you can decide to narrow the leg from right up at the hip line straight down to the floor. Now, you can also decide to add an elastic casing at your waistline instead of utilizing the side ties or the sash. The elastic will give you a little bit more comfort, I think, because it means it can expand if you happen to eat a little bit too much and you have a foodie baby, then it will be comfortable with the elastic casing. Or you can decide to go ahead and change the neckline of this pattern, either at the front or at the back, maybe lowering it at the back to at your waist level and having a little bit more exposure at your center back. If you haven't caught on yet, I think your back area could be really, really sexy, but really, really chic. So maybe go ahead and just lower it down and flash a little bit more skin in your back if you want to cover up your front. Or alternatively, you can lower your neckline to the front, maybe adding some strapping details if you wanted a little bit more coverage, or maybe a little bit of a panel, or even some ties. Just go ahead and play around with your creativity with this pattern. You probably don't have as many hacking options as with some other patterns because this one has so many different options. But as I told you, and as I have demonstrated, it does still have hacking potential. Now, those are the 5 patterns I wanted to share with you for today's video. Again, these are all patterns that have been designed with knit fabrics in mind, and that is what you need for Knit Week. Your pattern has to be designed with a knit fabric in mind. You might end up sewing it up in a woven fabric. That doesn't matter once your base pattern is a knit pattern. Now, I told you very briefly at the beginning of this video that I was wearing a top that was almost finished, you guys. And it is actually a hack of the Helen's Closet Ashton top. I'm going to come back here on the channel and I'm going to review this top and a dress that I made using the same material. Now, I don't want to give away too much just yet, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications turned on. So when that video goes live, you will be very much clued in. Now, if you happen to want the scoop a little bit earlier, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. The handle is the same as here on YouTube. It is on social. I'll put it here on screen in case you're not familiar with how you spell it. And I would really, really appreciate the support over on Instagram as well. Now, if you enjoyed today's video and you enjoyed the hacks that I shared, then be sure to give me a thumbs up. Drop me some comments down below and let me know, what did you think of the patterns that I suggested? Do you like the hacks that I suggested as well? Do you have different ideas that you can share and the community can benefit from? Be sure to leave all that information in the comment section. Now, if you have missed any of the videos in the series, make sure you go ahead and check them out, you guys. The Pattern Hackathon playlist will pop up at the end of this video, and I will definitely encourage you to go ahead and check out all of the other parts of this series. And you can also find the videos from the vlogging tour that has also been going on for the month of July. Some of my favorite YouTubers agreed to be a part of the Pattern Hackathon vlogging tour just to bring a little bit of the action to the YouTube platform as well. And so if you want to get some different perspectives on pattern hacking, make sure you check out those videos as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video and for joining me for this entire series and for participating in the Pattern Hackathon. It has been an amazing opportunity to spread some love and creativity throughout the sewing community. And you guys, I have been here for it. Community is my jam, and community means that each and every one of us needs to be supporting one another and to be getting involved in challenges such as the Pattern Hackathon. Obviously, you're free not to participate. That's completely fine as well. But it really means so much to me that at least you guys come back here to the channel to watch my videos from week to week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, that is all I needed to share with you guys for today's video. And for this Pattern Hackathon series, the next video that you'll see here on the channel featuring the Pattern Hackathon is going to be the prizes. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That will come sometime in August. The Pattern Hackathon ends on the 31st of July at 11:59 p.m. It will take the judges a little bit of time just to go through all of the amazing entries, and then I'll come right back here and share with you guys all of the winners. Now, until next time, you guys, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep watching. Peace.